Day everyone, this is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and it's Saturday, the 5th of June, 2021. And this is the weekly technical analysis for the Euro, the cable, and the Aussie dollar for the second week of June. Let's begin with the Euro. And you'll see that it did try to test the previous week's highs, but fell just short and closed bearish as a shooting star and dipped lower into the support zone on Wednesday, but the major fall was on Thursday with the US ADP employment report showed much better than expected figures, and this boosted the US dollar, and the other major pairs fell accordingly. However, on Friday, it recovered back with poor NFP jobs figures, much lower than expected, even though the unemployment rate dipped down slightly. But recovered back right to the 50% fib again and around the monthly pivot. However, when it fell right into the support zone at the 62 fib, near the 121.00. So this was initially starting to look like a potential complex head and shoulders, but however, this boost on the Friday, there could be a continuation move to test perhaps the 122.00, the resistance zone here. And we'll see whether there's enough momentum to push it through. But depends on Thursday. There's a major event for the Eurozone with the ECB rate and monetary policy decisions. So after last week's US dollar focus, we'll switch to the Eurozone this week. There's also some minor news earlier in the week, but the major one is still going to be the ECB decisions. Right, so we can see that the resistance is definitely at the 122.00 area, and support coming from 121, and that's where the daily 55 is coming up to as well. All right, and the new monthly pivot has also, this is the level here at 121.60, and that's right close to the longer term 50 fib retracement. Okay, let's also take a look at the US dollar index, where the Thursday ADP figures gave that a boost, and it had been trying to gain some support that was around the 162 fib extension, and had a big strong move on the Thursday right up into the resistance zone at the 138 fib extension. And it would have been ideal if the NFP figures also followed the ADP figures. However, it did not, and it could not break out higher above the daily 55, and instead pull back down to test the 90 level again. So that's disappointing for the US dollar index, the DXY. So this week we'll see whether it's just further consolidation, and whether it's going to make another attempt to break out higher, or whether it could weaken further. That's going to be a critical one, but most likely it's will range between the support and resistance levels. All right, let's move on to the cable. And for the cable on the Tuesday, it attempted to break out higher, did push through this previous high of the year, but then was rejected, fell back lower. And the Thursday, it basically just tried to climb up higher, but then rejected as the ADP figures came out as well, and fell into the support zone at the 141. So it just basically traded within that range, as we have highlighted last week. And the Friday tried to claim back right to 142 again, but then close near the weekly pivot, just below that. And the new monthly pivot is at 140.80, and it's been holding above that. This week, there's only UK GDP, and in fact, a lot of other minor news. Even the GDP figure is not highlighted as a major impact. So 141 is going to be a key support level, and we'll see if it's just going to consolidate for the week, or whether it's going to attempt to break out. All right, the Bank of England doesn't meet until a couple more weeks, so it's ECB first for this week. And next week, it'll be FOMC first, the Federal Reserve. Okay, moving on to the Aussie dollar. And the RBA did have their meeting last Tuesday, but nothing much, no change from that meeting. And it was just a move to retest this rising trend line where it fell from, push back up to retest it, and as well as the fib retracement here, and right at the 50 fib as well. And then as with the other pairs, Thursday fell lower, but held up and quickly reversed course on the Friday. There was a strong move back up above the weekly pivot and the daily 55 EMA. Shift this weekly pivot is down here. Monthly pivot is at 77.66 for this new month. That's a monthly pivot there. So a strong bounce back, even though it was already looking like the head and shoulders was starting to develop, as the neckline highlighted is at the 77.00 area. It did fall lower, but it managed to climb back up and break through the neckline again. So now it's may still continue as long as it does not break out higher above the 78 resistance area where the right shoulder is. So it can still be a head and shoulders if it does continue lower. All right, and this week there are no major news at all from Australia. So it's just exposed to US dollar news mainly. Okay, so for the Aussie dollar, it'd be interesting because it managed to recover and bounce back up, but we'll see if there's momentum climbing back into resistance, or it could just range in a smaller range until it breaks out. So monthly pivot is going to be a key intermediate resistance zone here. And the 77 is still going to be support. So let's just mark this here as well. And let's move this into an intermediate resistance. Okay. Okay, so do check out my other videos on spot gold and dollar yen as well. And have a good trading week and a safe week, and cheers for now.